What is the meaning of atheism? Answer: atheism is to reject belief in any unseen powers. An atheist denies the existence of a creator, prophethood, and resurrection after death. It is the absence of belief in gods. Atheists see no compelling evidence for gods. It's a conclusion reached after careful consideration. Understanding atheism requires simple logic. It's simply a lack of belief in God. Answer: atheism requires a high level of faith that drastically exceeds religious faith. Rather, it is a faith that is based upon delusional premises and erroneous imaginations, unlike religious faith that is based upon intuitive, self-evident, and unquestionable facts that we see with our own eyes, as well as intellectual axioms and legal proofs. So, to be an atheist, you have to imagine the following. A. The universe was a product of a combination of nothingness, which ended up to becoming a wonderful, marvelous universe that matches the most accurate measures and subtle limits. B. Coincidence produced the subtle limits and physical constants in which the universe was formed. This contradicts the fact that there are two conditions for coincidence to occur: place and time. But they claim that the universe emerged out of nowhere and no time, which negates the concept of coincidence. C. Randomness, along with the primary environment of the Earth, produced life, bacteria, and man, even though the human mind with its full might now is still unable to produce the simplest forms of life. D. All the ethical values which we deem valid mostly run counter to materialism, since genuine ethics represent a material burden and loss on the level of worldly interest. These are the given facts and the outcome of the material. You have to believe in all such intellectual impossibilities so that you start as an atheist. E. In atheism, there is no intellectual or material authority that prevents the annihilation of all humans on Earth. In fact, the material world does not acknowledge right and wrong then. It makes no difference to keep alive all humans on Earth or exterminate them, in the view of atheism, which is also founded upon faith. However, without any remnant of knowledge, textual or intellect proof or ethics. Don't forget, if you like the content, I would like you to put a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the video so you will support me and help me to keep up. There will be more episodes the next time, inshallah, about this topic. We come back to our topic, atheism. Let's see if the atheist is right. Let's see if what he pretends is right or not. Let's see if really there is a God or not. What is the proof of the existence of the Creator? Answer: there are numerous proofs, yet we will present only two thereof. 1. The proof of bringing into existence. 2. The proof of providence and perfection. What does the proof of bringing into existence mean? Answer: it means that everything that came into being after it had been non-existent must have an entity that caused it to exist and come into being. In this way, we have unlimited number of proofs of the existence of the Creator, exalted be He. Every atom in the universe proves the creation, since every created thing that came into being is in itself a proof of the Creator. When you ponder over the existence, you find that it is temporal and liable to change. It is not permanent or eternal. Thus, it cannot be self-sufficient. This should make you decisively believe in your mind that it has a Creator, so as soon as you look into the universe, your mind goes to the one who brought it into existence. For that reason, there are numerous verses in the Quran that draw our attention to the universe and the things that exist around us. Allah Almighty said, "Say, look at what is in the heavens and earth, but the signs and warnings are of no avail to those who do not believe." Surat 101. Allah also said, "Do they not reflect on themselves? Allah did not create the heavens and earth and all that is between them except for a true purpose and for an appointed term, but most people deny the meeting with their Lord." Surat Ar-Rum 8. Allah also said, "Have they not observed the dominions of the heavens and earth and all that Allah has created?" Surah Al-Araf 185. Every created thing is a direct evidence on the Creator. What does the proof of providence and perfection mean? Answer: it means everything in the existence, starting from quarks, the smallest detected subatomic particle forming matter, up to galaxies, carries a degree of functional complexity. In other words, it performs a specific and certain task. Every functional complexity in nature is a status that exceeds mere existence. To explain, existence is a degree, And the complexity in the existent thing is a degree that exceeds mere existence. Everything around you is specifically designed to do a specific function. This means that everything around you carries a functional complexity, which is an evidence of creation and bringing things into existence. So there must be an originator who brought them into existence. Example of this is the electric lamp. It represents functional complexity as it consists of 1 filament, 2A lead wire that conducts the electricity to the filament, 3 inert gas that protects the filament without interacting with it or with electricity, 4 glass bulb that prevents the air to enter and the inert gas escaping the lamp, or else the filament will burn, 5 lamp base. It connects the lamp to the holder and forms a pathway for the electric current. It is a system of complexity that cannot be simplified, and so it has an obvious intellectual connotation that denotes perfection of making. The one who negates the existence of the perfect creation of the electric lamp, or claims that it came to being by mere coincidence, is the one who has to present the proof for this claim. The maker of the lamp knows well what electricity is, its pathways, the benefits of the lamp, and the sensitivity of the filament. Therefore, the existence of the lamp directly indicates that it has a proficient maker, and that it did not appear randomly, simply because there are other lamps that look completely different. Using the same intellectual inference, we find that something that is functionally complex like a human being must have an originator that created him. Whereas the electric lamp consists of 5 components, a human being consists of 4 billion components in every cell of his body. 4 billion components make up the functions of the organism, which are called the genetic code, the genome, or DNA, and are located in the nucleus of each of your cells. So, if you are to believe that the 5 components forming the electric lamp have a creator while you do not have a creator, then this would be problematic for yourself. Were they created by none, or were they the creators of themselves? Surah At-Tur 35. There is complexity in everything around you. There is nothing in nature, even in the atom, orbits, or in your own body, but it has some kind of functional complexity. That functional complexity of every atom and particle exists in everything in the universe. Allah Almighty said, "Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and earth, the alternation of the night and day, the sailing of the ships in the sea for the benefit of people, the sending down of rain from the sky by Allah, reviving thereby the earth after its death, the spreading of all kinds of creatures therein, the directing of the winds and clouds between the sky and earth. In all these, there are signs for people of understanding." Surat al-Baqarah 164. There are a lot of verses in this regard. However, only those who apply their reason do take heed. None will take heed except people of understanding. Surat al-Imran 7. When one employs his mind and looks into the existence, the evidence of bringing into existence, and contemplates the accuracy and functions of the created beings, evidence of providence and perfection, will certainly acknowledge the existence of the Creator through reason. Why could it not be that man and other organisms are generated from extremely simple and primitive one-celled beings? There are 2 problems here. The first problem, there is not a single piece of evidence that proves the transformation of one type of organism into another type, let alone such a shocking presumptive leap that man is originated from primitive one-celled beings. So how can an atheist believe in such an assumption which lacks any type of direct proof, and blame us for using religious intellectual inference? Second problem, according to the minimum gene set concept, it is not possible for any organism, no matter how simple it is, to be below 200 genes. The minimum set of genes is the least number of genes by which an organism can live. That is, if this minimum set misses only 1 gene, then the organism would not be able to live. A gene is a tape of information that contains a large number of genetic codes that encrypt information. There is a minimum number of genes that are essential for an organism to live. Some genes are encrypted for energy. Actually, an organism cannot live without energy, while other genes are encrypted for nutrition, others for reproduction, others for the basic functions of life, and so on. Scientists have calculated the minimum number of genes that are essential for life and decided that they cannot be less than 200. Craig Venter Institute concluded that the minimum number of genes cannot be less than 382 genes. J. Craig Venter Institute, JCVI, conducted a study to find all the essential genes of M. genitalium through global transposon mutagenesis. As a result, they found that 382 out of 482 protein coding genes were essential. Scientists found out that mycoplasma, which is the tiniest organism on Earth, has 468 genes. If the whole issue is about matter and the world is just a physical system, then we need to start from the zero gene if we want to go from hydrogen to man. However, science tells us that there is nothing called the zero gene, one gene, or even 100 genes. Rather, science says, we need a gigantic set of information at minimum range, otherwise the living organism would not have appeared in the first place. In nature, there is nothing primitive, but every system began with independent glamour. The glamour in the information system, which encrypts the beings before they appear, will always remain a stumbling block in facing atheism and for those who deny the divine creation. You have 4 billion specialized pieces of information, the information within the nucleus of each one of your cells, to produce accurate biological functions. The atheist used to speculate that there were living beings that started from the zero gene, but the theory of minimal genes came and eliminated this fantasy. In fact, organisms appeared functionally complex from the very first moment, otherwise they would not have appeared in the first place. What are some examples on the proof of providence and perfection? Answer: the examples are countless, and too many to be collected. If all the trees on earth were pens and the ocean were ink, replenished by 7 more oceans, the words of Allah would not be exhausted. Indeed, Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Surat Luqman 27. Every atom in the universe is an indication of the divine providence, a fact that we are going to know either today or tomorrow. Insulin, the glucose-digesting hormone, is secreted by the pancreas with the same amount according to your intake of sugar. B, the heart's pumping force of blood is equivalent to the energy needed by the muscles in accordance with the exerted effort. C, there are valves in your stomach preventing food from going back to your mouth that would harm you. D, excretion valves so that your clothes do not get soiled at every moment. E, the bones of your skull do not fuse until you come out of your mother's womb easily, because if they were fused, they would not come out of your mother's womb until they were broken. Also, these bones are not fully grown until your brain is fully grown. F, all axons of your nerves that transmit electrical signals are coated with an insulating layer, as we do now with electrical wires, so that the electrical signal does not stray, be lost, or cause disturbance to you. G, the electron revolves around the nucleus at a speed of 1,000 kilometers per second, otherwise it would fall inside the nucleus due to the force of attraction with the positive nucleus, and the universe would have collapsed before it began, and it is the ideal speed for the formation of the atom. H, when 2 hydrogen atoms fuse, 0.007% of the mass of hydrogen is converted into energy, and if the mass were 0.006% instead of 0.007%, the proton would not fuse with the neutron, and the whole universe would only remain as hydrogen, and the rest of the elements would not appear. If the converted mass into energy was 0.008% instead of 0.007%, the coalescence would be too fast, which would lead to the immediate disappearance of hydrogen from the universe, making life impossible. Thus, the number must be between 0.006% and 0.008%. I. The electron mass represents 0.2% of the neutron mass, and this is the standard mass for the formation of an atom. J. After germination, the sprouts head directly toward the light source and the roots go downwards, where the sprouts are extremely sensitive to light, and all the information they need to do their job is encoded inside the seed. There are hormones that control the upper and lateral growth of the plant and towards the roots. All these hormones are also encoded inside the seed. K. As you eat a delicious piece of fruit and then throw the dry and tasteless seed away, you are allowing that fruit to pass on its genes. Such fruit gives you a delicious taste while hiding its genes, the origin of its life, inside the dry, smooth seed that does not appeal to you. Once you throw this seed onto the earth and after the suitable conditions are available, it begins to form a fruit tree with its branches, twigs, and roots. All this happens in plants that have no perception of anything. L, who set the information for that inarticulate deaf fruit and adjusted the amount of sugar in it so that it becomes appealing to you, who made the seed unacceptable and unpalatable so that you would have no interest in it and throw it away, who loaded the seed with enough genetic information to create a new plant with all its details and functions. M, we recently came to realize that the inertia in whose bliss we live in is the product of the mass of the universe as a whole. What does inertia mean? What happens when you are riding in a car and it suddenly stops, you are pushed forward? Is not that true? This is what inertia means. If the inertia of our world were less than it is now, the simplest breeze of air could move rocks, and in a world like this, we would constantly be smashed by all kinds of things. On the other hand, if it were greater than it is now, we would be unable to move even our fingers. Nature's destiny, how the laws of biology reveal purpose in the universe. Michael Denton. The inertial force depends on the mass. The thing that surprised physicists is that the mass of the Milky Way, the galaxy that contains our solar system, participates in controlling the inertia by only 0.1 million, while the mass of the Earth controls the inertia only by 0.001 million. Thus, the ideal inertia upon whose good consequences we live, and through which we practice all our activities, is the product of the total energy of the universe as a whole. We have not created the heavens and earth and all that is between them in vain. That is the assumption of those who disbelieve. So woe to the disbelievers from the fire. Surat Sad, 27. The more science expands, the more wonders of wisdom and the subtleties of creation appear. This issue was discussed in detail by Michael Denton in his book, The Fate of Nature. A translated version of it is issued by Dar al-Khatib Publications. And then let us move to the eye, that priceless blessing. Have we not given him two eyes? Surat al-Balad, 8. The eye's resolution is equivalent to 576 megapixels. The eye has the purest lens in the world. The size of the photoreceptor in the retina does not exceed half a square millimeter, and it distinguishes between 10 million color shades of different dimensions. It is indeed a miraculous and dazzling divine creation. When you look at something in front of you and the light falls on the retina, at that very moment several complex chemical processes take place and eventually generate an electric current. This current is transmitted from the retina of your eye to your brain through nerve wires. The brain here interprets the frequency of this electric current as eyesight, as if the brain has an integrated preset dictionary that converts the electric current that has reached it into the act of seeing what is in front of you. That is amazing if you just think about it. Imagine, this brain dwells inside a dark box of bones, which is the skull. Nothing reaches it except electric currents. So, how can the brain interpret such currents as seeing? How does it give you the ability to see? This miracle happens once you open your eyes and see. The same goes for hearing. As sound waves enter your eardrum, it converts them from waves into a mechanical movement. This mechanical movement is then transmitted through 3 tiny bones in the middle ear to the inner ear, which converts it into an electrical current. This electric current is transmitted at this point from the inner ear to the brain, which starts to define this electric current as sounds, so you hear the sound. All this takes place in less than a split second. Allah brought you out from your mother's wombs not knowing anything, and He gave you hearing, sight, and intellect, so that you may be grateful. Surat An-Nahl, 78. Try to imagine that, at every moment, the thousands of electrical signals that reach the brain from the eye, ear, touching, tasting, smelling, and other different parts of the body to distinguish between all these signals in an astounding accuracy. This is Allah's creation. So show me what others beside Him have created. In fact, the wrongdoers are clearly misguided. Surat Luqman, 11. Such is the design of Allah, who has perfected everything. Indeed, He is all aware of what you do. Surat An-Naml, 88. Who is that who can fully perceive even only one blessing out of Allah's blessings? Ponder on every joint and bone in your body that allow you to move exactly as needed. Think of the smooth joints that allow you to move without friction between the bones or erosion. Allah has deposited in these joints a liquid-like lubricant that is placed in the joints of machines. Think of the blessings of Allah with contemplation and be thankful to Him for them. Allah's blessings are countless. Do you not see that Allah has made subservient to you all that is in the heavens and on earth, and has abundantly bestowed upon you His favors both apparent and hidden? Yet there are some people who dispute concerning Allah without knowledge or guidance or an enlightening scripture. Surat Luqman, 20. To be continued.